How's it going? There's some stuff to talk about. It's fucking news, man. I'm telling you. Oh, am I not allowed to curse in the first? Maybe we weren't even live. I don't know. When YouTube kicks off the live thing. Missing Epstein files containing major allegations against Trump. I know I keep seeing that, but here's the thing. The Epstein files contain major allegations against Trump. Never mind the missing ones. Keep getting alerts. I keep getting the alerts. The alerts. Let's see. AI is taking over. Donald Trump suffocating the cattle farmers here. The meatpacking plants are closing. He's bailing out Argentina again, buying their rancid meat. Jared Kushner's absolute douchebaggery, and RFKJ is saying some interesting stuff. Robert Kennedy Jr. Wait, Robert Francis Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. says some crazy stuff. These people, man, are they not aware of who the fuck they're working for? Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Let's be very clear on that. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, and Robert Kennedy Jr. has the I don't know what. I don't want to say balls because that's not a good way to describe this statement. Robert Kennedy Jr. has the audacity, that's it. He has the audacity to say this.
I got into this job initially because of my interest in kids.
But he got into Robert Kennedy Jr. got the job because of his interest in kids. Now, listen, I know the White House revamped their application process when you're trying to apply for a job. This was a story a few years ago. So forgive me, I pay attention to the little stuff because I thought it was funny, and then I went and looked at the application, and basically they revamped all of the applications to work for the Trump White House to like, how well can you defend the president? That's essentially what they boiled it down to. You know, like, are you pretty good at just, backing up whatever we're going for today? But maybe I didn't read the whole thing, and maybe there was a box like, do you have an interest in kids? Because Robert Kennedy Jr. is saying this, like, dude, you should have no position because you have an interest in kids. Even preschool teachers, like, that should not, you shouldn't be hiring people when they come in, they're like, I got a big interest in kids. That should not be a thing. You should be like, I want to teach the youth. I have faith in the next generation. I think it's a crucial, vital fucking support for children at this age to be around well-informed, educated people. But he's just like, I had an interest in kids, man. I had an interest in kids. I got hired.
I got into this job initially because of my interest in kids.
What was your interest in kids? This is the craziest fucking clip, man. He was like, I really wanted to give him measles again. I wanted to see how that would pan out. His interest in kids is to like bring measles back, have over like 100 fucking recalls on food. His interest in kids was like, how well are they adapted to survive right now? If we poison the blueberries, if we made the blueberries kill people, do you think that would, how do you think they would develop a resilience to that? Crazy, man, crazy. What's up, Cage? Smoking. Destex. Oh, that's a new person in the chat. What's up, Destex? Hit subscribe, Duffy. How are you guys? How is everybody? We're gonna get to the news. I just thought that was wild. RFKJ is saying, I got into this position because my interest in kids. I don't know. I would start with like your interest in science. He's into health and human services, not in the interest in children services. Weird thing, man. Health and I guess his interest, RFK Jr.'s interest in kids, like he said, he got the job because of his interest in kids.
Initially because of my interest in kids.
I guess that has overridden everything else this man does. He's like, I can't really pay attention to the blueberries or that diarrhea lettuce because my interest is in kids, man. There's a lot of kids sick in the Carolinas. They got a lot of things going on in the Carolinas. They got that measles that's coming back, man. Is that like the hot new thing? Lunch meat, blueberries, lettuce, tomatoes, jalapenos, tomato soup. Fuck it, what else? Tomato soup. I think the pastrami. The meat has screw worms in it. There was something else. The popsicles have glass and the sourdough bread has metal shards in it. So, 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 um, so yeah. So yeah. So yeah. Let's listen to a little. Wait. No. Where's? By the way, how fucking awesome is the? Yo, I love the internet. I love the internet. Internet comes out swinging every time. Every time. What's up, Pick and Grin? Good to see you, man. Primal. If I haven't said hello, just little Oreo. Surfboard. Great quality control. Yeah, maybe, listen, at this point, maybe that's what they're doing. They're just like, I don't know, if you eat lettuce, you get to die by diarrhea. You know, quality control. They're controlling the quality of humans. Anybody that eats lettuce, good luck. You probably should just eat air. Well, that's the only thing most people can afford. Tanya Carr or Tony A. Carr. I believe it's Tanya Carr, but you know what I mean. Alma, what's up? By the way, milk next. Mark my words. I don't know why you're saying, but that is creepy how you said that, Primal. Milk next. Mark my words. Oh, that is. That's, hold on. I want to just move out of the way. Expensive poison these days. Yeah, that's true. Good news. I haven't had a salad in 3 years. There you go. Well, you got to be careful because lettuce isn't the only thing salad's in. You know, you got to watch yourself because the lettuce is at Chipotle. The jalapenos were they also at Chipotle? I forget what fast food place. Is my internet crashing out? Can you guys tell me, is my internet crashing out? It keeps telling me I have 0 people in the live. I don't know if this is YouTube. I don't know if my internet's crashed. At least we have excellent healthcare. You mean expensive healthcare? You mean expensive? Behavior bender. Love that. Love that. I'm good. Thank you, Gma. Yeah, it says I have nobody in the live right now. So I don't know if, like, I've been trying to clip my things and I'll be breaking up. And I'm like, ah, shit, this internet, man. I'm still here. Okay. I'm not asking if you guys are there. I'm asking if my thing is glitching. You know, am I glitching? Because I've noticed that. Yo, Spider-Man, that's sick. Yeah, I want to stay out of the way. You see that? The Spider-Man going after Jake Long. This fucking douchebag. Like, this is how you have to have a career in America. You got to go around with a sign that says the N-word to, like, make money. It is glitching? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I thought so. Hold on, give me a second. I thought so. I thought it would be glitching because there's no way it's showing me do a backflip for chat. I can't do a backflip. What do I look like, a gymnast? Wait a minute, Pick and Grin. What is galactophagist? Galactophagist? What does that word mean? Jake Long is touching his toes in jail right now. Did he get locked up? There's no way he got locked up. They don't put people like this in jail. This is the other side of very fine people on both sides. Remember when Donald Trump said that? Went from 1 to 11 to 1. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm at 1 viewer right now. So I'm just trying to make sure it's not my internet because I don't want to do the show when I'm glitching because if I go to clip it, I've clipped some things that I've had to toss away because the internet is like, it's just cutting out. So, is a person who drinks milk really a galactophagist? That sounds like a goddamn new dinosaur, dude. Hopefully there'll be no emergencies today so I could chat. Yeah, hopefully. Hold on, I'm gonna check my oh god, dodecahedron. I know that one. Try a PC with an Ethernet cable. Listen, I wish Punk Rock Kitty with what? Punk Rock Kitty with... I don't think I can say. Can I say the whole name? Punk Rock Kitty with titties. That's an interesting name. Yeah, I wish I could get an Ethernet cable here. We can't. Welcome to America. We can't get one here. Just call me Punk Rock. Will do, Kitty. I mean Punk Rock. Is that someone who still drinks their mother's milk at 40? Him? Yeah, probably. I don't know. That'd be weird at 40. Wait, all those dudes on the pickup truck with the cross and sign of the protest included Jake are in custody right now? I didn't know that. I see this shit, man, and honestly, I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's IRL clickbait. That's all this is. It's IRL clickbait. You know what I mean? Like, it's just him trying to get hit by Spider-Man. That's it. What are you doing today, Jake? I gotta go out and hold up a sign where hopefully Spider-Man wants to punch me. You know, like I don't know. I think I was gonna go to the back of a truck with a cross with Jesus who said, "Love everybody." The word of God is to love everybody, and I'm gonna hold up a sign that says, "I don't love everybody," being an ironic hypocrite in the back of that truck, in hopes that Spider-Man comes out a swinging. You know? Oh, good God! So it's just hard for me to like. It's it's one of those things where you see the clip of this and you go, really, America? Is this where we're at? Where there's like, this is the other side? You know what I mean? Like that this isn't, there was a point in America where Jake Lang would go out there and even the president would be like, that guy's a douche. Don't listen to him. You know, and we're at the point in America where they're like, yeah, there's pretty fine people on both sides of this argument. You know, and I'm just like, oh God, that's very demoralizing for, you know, all of the little black kids out there, all of the little brown kids out there, all the little yellow kids out there, all the little fucking marginalized groups out there, where you could see this brazen fucking asshole get on the back of a truck and not a collective movement of like, that guy like shouldn't be allowed out in the communities, you know, like he just shouldn't be allowed out. He just shouldn't be allowed out. There's pretty shit people on both sides of the argument. I don't know about that, man. If you're talking about my side, I understand that, listen, everybody's got their shit. But at the same time, there's the leftists who are saying, like, everyone should have healthcare. Everyone should have shelter. Everyone should have access to clean food and water. Like, that's a thing we're now requesting in 2026. Like, hey, don't let the blueberries and lettuce kill us. And then the other side's like, I don't know. Have you thought about tariffs? I mean, look at how it's worked out so far. We're going to do tariffs to Canada, you know? Oh, shit. You know? And the fact that there's people like, I don't know, there's shitty people on both sides. It's like, dude, there's only one side that's for the people. There's only one side. And it's none of the Democrats, Republicans, independents. It's none of them. This political system, if we could flush twice on this political system and just make sure it all goes down the drain, you know, and just like start with a clean slate. Like, hey, there was too much dirty money in politics. Just way too much. Like, oof, you took a look at any politicians, I don't give a shit. Independent, left, right, fucking mid Democrat, diet conservative, you know, Democrat light. It doesn't matter. At this point, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. There's too much shittiness on all of them. Where it's like, if we got a thing where there's just stalemates on like, hey, people need healthcare, and they're like, I don't know about that. Probably not. We're just gonna give tax cuts to the rich. Then I would say like, this is not a government that works for the people. This is not a government that's for, by, or of the people. It's a government of rich people who are taking richer companies' monies to turn around and do favors for them. You don't believe me? If you think fucking any of this country gives a shit about you, listen to Donald Trump talk about the American farmers, which I'm pretty sure I still have the clip of the farmer who was like, I loved you, sir. Hold on, I haven't played that clip in ages. Dude, this is a farmer after Donald Trump basically, you know, Epsteined him. Where is it? Hold on, I haven't played this in forever, dude. Oh my God, do I even still have this clip? Farmer, here we go.
Mr. Trump, you looked at me, sir, and you said, I love you. Mr. Trump, I need to see the fruit of your love.
So that farmer says, Mr. Trump, you looked at me and said, I love you. I need to see the fruit of your love. And I'm like, dude, you thought Donald Trump looked at you and said he loved you? He didn't even fucking go to his son's wedding. Dude, he looked at you and lied to your face. It was like, I love you. And now they were begging and pleading when all their farms were going bankrupt. And if you're a cattle farmer and you heard that clip and you're like, oh, sucks for you, he's going to take care of us. Ooh, I got bad news today. Bad news today.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about.
Why is Argentina fighting for its life? Didn't we give them $20 billion or was it $40 billion? Does nobody remember that? Does nobody remember that we gave, not we, he gave Argentina our tax money. Like he wasn't like, hey guys, I have $6 billion. I'll throw them a bone. I'll throw them a little bone. He was like, no, I'm using your tax money to bail out Argentina. Again, I feel like there's so much going on that people kind of, the short-term memory of Americans is like, oh yeah, did we do that or was that a fever dream? How the fuck are they fighting for their life if we just get the $20 billion of our tax money?
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything.
What do you mean they have no money? We just gave them $20 billion. When did we give them? Hold on. When did America give Argentina $20 billion? That's the first thing that comes up on Google. When was that? October 9th, 2025. That wasn't even a year. How did they go through $20 billion in not a year? Oh my God. We need to treat them like American elites treat poor people. Be like, well, maybe Argentina, you shouldn't be getting a $30 lunch from Panera. Maybe Argentina, you're budgeting wrong. Maybe you shouldn't be getting an iPhone every year, Argentina. If you went October 9th, I swear to God, this is like a time warp. I feel like that was like 6 years ago. I know it wasn't. But that was only not even last year. That was 10 months ago. Oh my God, 10 months they blew through 20 billion. Yo, that's $2 billion a month. They've been spending $2 billion a month and they're fighting for their life. What the fuck is going on? Oh man, I'll tell you what, if you gave me 20 billion, I would not blow it in 10 months, okay? I promise. Promise. Give me 20 billion. By the way, welcome. I'm Rob. I do a show every day at 4:20. I do a show every day at 4:20. I don't know if this show is going to continue, to be very honest. Because I feel, I don't know. I'm starting to think like, you know what? Just let MAGA win. Let them get the fucking life they voted for. What am I, what is my voice doing here? What does anybody even give a shit? Like, I think, because I'm like, maybe if I get to 15,000 subs, right? This is what I was talking about with God earlier. I was like, listen, if I could hit 15,000 subs within the next week or something, maybe that's a sign to keep going on. But if not, like YouTube controls the algorithm. It doesn't give a shit, What am I doing? I've been on here saying like, Mr. Beast, if you cared anything about people or creators, you would have started the largest organization effort to unionize YouTube creators and figure out some unique way to get people paid better for the content they're creating for this platform. And don't forget, this platform is like $1 trillion company owned by what, Alphabet? And I don't know, I'm just like, I get so many people talking shit, all these bots, which I don't care about it, but I'm like, maybe I should just be quiet and just let these motherfuckers get Epsteined by Donald Trump, I just sit in the background and disappear for a little bit. I gotta maybe go into Valenti VODs and see if he'll throw a dog a bone. Because I've been doing this for a long time now. A long time, out of the love of it, right? When I tell you, I don't really... I know I'm bad at a few things. When I say like, hey, hit the likes, but I don't do it for the likes, I do it for love. I genuinely mean that, But at this point in the game, I don't know. Do we just all sit back and hope that, somebody hits us with a nuke, and just go, hey, at least we don't have to die from diarrhea lettuce. At least we ain't got to die from diarrhea lettuce. I think this is going to be quicker than the diarrhea lettuce deaths that have happened in America in 2026. So I don't know. If you feel like it, you're new here, hit subscribe, Hit the notification bell. I don't know. It feels like running on a treadmill, trying to convince people, trying to convince behavior bender. Boston Rob, you're appreciated. Don't be a nihilist. I'm very sorry. I'm having a very, very hard time right now. Oh, Starlight Zen Space is here. I'm having a hard time in life right now. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, damn, man, all I want to do is convince people like the government has the money to fund our wealth or our welfare and our healthcare. They're trillionaires. There's a fucking trillionaire. No, not liquid cash, but we could just tax all of his assets. And people are like constantly like just fucking barking up the wrong tree. Because I'm like, I'm not saying this shit because I want to debate. I'm not saying this stuff because I want to discuss it, guys. I'm telling you what every other country, every other first world country has. I'm telling you we could do it here, but there's like 17% of the Republican Party that's still diehard MAGA that's standing on their dicks and just getting in the way of everything, you know? And then I play clips of like Tim Pool or who the fuck else? Who was I just listening to? Good God, man. I can't remember the other podcaster. I was listening to this other podcaster and I'm like, dude, is this what it takes? You kind of just got to ride you got to like sell your soul a little bit. Oh, thank you, Smoking Blondie, for the $49.99 super chat. We need community or we will fade away. That's 100% what it is. That's 100% what it is. 100%. And that's what I was trying to build here, right? Community. But you're a communist. Well, thank you. So is Jesus. But, you know, I'm just like, man, I don't know. Maybe I'm just burnt, you know? Maybe life has just burnt me the fuck out. Because I'm like, man, if people, like, if the country I live in, they're worshiping this dick, not dictator, just dickhead. Just a fucking absolute dickhead who should be in prison with 34 felony counts, who should be in prison for the finding against him for E. Jean Carroll, who should be in prison or at least investigated for the Epstein files, right? And here's the thing, MAGA, you can talk all the shit you want, but I put my face out here every day. I put memes up. There was a story today about a woman who just got her job back after getting fired for saying some shit about Charlie Kirk. You know, it's like people are getting fired from their jobs for talking shit about it. Fuck Charlie Kirk. He was a racist, and I'm glad he's not here anymore. Fuck those motherfuckers, you know? And I have no problem. I have no problem saying any of this and putting my face on here every day. You could look back over 2 years of putting my face out here. So that's why, like, you know, the people in the comments that don't have an avatar and talk some shit, I'm like, you're fucking peanuts, man. You know, I always tell them, go do a live stream. Go show your face every day. You're safe right now. Hold on. Behavior Bender. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Tiny minority still stands with Trump. He'll be out of here soon. But my concern, and again, this is where MAGA kind of gets confused. My concern isn't with this dude, you know? Any day we're going to be reading an obituary. This guy isn't healthy, you know? Like, I'm not concerned with him. I'm concerned with the fucking culture. You know, these culture generals, the culture war generals like Joe Rogan and Tim Pool and Ben Pito and Ben Shapito, sorry, I didn't mean to mispronounce it. And Tim Dillon. Like, the more I see that shit, the more I'm like, oh, God, it's poison, man. It's poison. They're listening to these people pretending like, yeah, man, we got tricked. We all got tricked. I can't believe that Donald Trump is, like, doing corruption right in front of us. It's like, have you not paid attention for the 80 years he's been alive? This is all this guy's known for. He's not known for being a straight shooter. He's known for fucking like renegotiating bankruptcy deals because every fucking thing he touched goes bankrupt. And I'm like, and you didn't pay attention to that? And you thought like, oh, this is the guy that's gonna save the cattle ranchers and not just import rancid Argentinian beef? Really? You know, and people are buying it. Look at it, Tim Dillon. I don't even know fucking, where's this motherfucker show? 669,000 fucking views on a thing where he's like, classic Trump. He's doing corruption in front of our faces. I'm like, bro, you're the guy that got him elected. You, Joe Rogan. Without Joe Rogan, Tim Dillon, the Flagrant Podcast, Theo Vaughn, that fucking election, well, and then you got to take in Elon Musk, dump 300 million into that, and whatever they did with the voting locations where they called in threats. Look that up. Look that up in Atlanta, and there was a couple other states, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. I forget what the other one. Pennsylvania. Like there were so many threats called in to deter people from voting. You know, and then you consider like without the help of these podcasters who have now about faced and still cashing in, you know, that's really my problem, because once you've proven that your actions are this untrustworthy and you don't have like an hour-long podcast like a goddamn Logan Paul getting out of that Japanese forest fucking with your hair like a goddamn, you know, 2004 Justin Bieber, if you're not having an apology video like that, like, listen, man, I don't want to lose your trust. We have all been betrayed. I clearly am separating myself. And none of these dudes are doing it. Now they're all graciously, like, going into the fold of, like, oh, man, can you believe this shit? Like, yeah, I can, because you told your audience to go for this. You told your audience. Like, many people were against this. By the way, thank you guys for super chat. I really appreciate it. I'm not trying to like vent. Oh, look, Fatherson's here. Hey, Fatherson, go fuck yourself and put yourself on face or on whatever this is, live stream. Go put your face out there, you absolute coward. Sorry, I'm having a rough day. I don't mean that personal, Fatherson. I just mean that in like, you know, if you're gonna troll, at least show your face sometime, you coward. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure if you saw me in real life, you'd shake my hand and be like, oh, that's cool, but you live stream every day. But the truth is like, you know, you'll never show your face. You don't want to be known. And it's easier for people like you to go out there and be like, I believe that Argentina is dying right now. You know, like, look at this.
The deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard.
You know, you could play that clip and you could be like, oh man, Argentina is fighting for their life. We just gave them $20 billion 10 months ago and they have no money. You know, it was very responsible spending they did with that. You know, and dude, you would probably go viral. This is what I mean. I could totally do clips where I just played Donald Trump and I was like, yeah, we need to be saving Argentina right now. And YouTube would be like, boost that motherfucker. Put him right next to Theo Vaughn in the Flagrant podcast. So Fatherson, you know, maybe you could just do it with an anonymous mask or something. You could go on a live stream and be like, I'm so proud of Donald Trump, but I have to wear a mask to hide my face because I want to keep my job. That's the other funny thing. People have commented in my chat. I'm like, why don't you do a live stream? And you love Donald Trump so much. And they're like, I have a job. And I'm like, doesn't that say everything? You can't be like, I love the destruction of our economy and the oppression of our people so much that I don't want to lose my job over it. It really speaks more volumes about America and how there's no safety nets. But please don't attack, guys, the chat. Please be cool. Please be cool. Please be cool. Please be cool. I don't mean to set a bad example. I try to let the chat know, like, guys, just, you know, don't take any of these people seriously. I'm just in a very touchy space. Good, Fatherson's still here. Let him stay here. You say that you're a worker, but you are an unemployed loser. Okay. I don't care. Let's say I have no job, Fatherson. Makes my inherent value as a human worth less? I thought you motherfuckers, you know, thought life started at conception. I thought you guys cared about the fucking humans. This is what I mean. It's like, you're just a fucking paradox of hypocrisy. I don't care. And that's why I'm saying, like, chat, just leave that dude alone. Let him talk all his shit. There's no engaging with that, you know? He's like, you're an unemployed loser. Like, what if it turned out I was a millionaire? You know what I mean? And I was running pump and dump crypto schemes. You think his opinion of me would change? No. This is what I try to teach people. Like, they don't give a shit. It's all fucking straw man. It's all like, you're unemployed or you live with your mom. And I'm like, my mom's dead for fucking a decade, dude. Come on, man. No, sorry, over a decade. Jesus Christ. Sorry, almost 2 decades. But anyways, I just want people to see that when they come in and say stuff like that, it's more funny to me than anything, because it's like if I pulled back the curtain and I was like, actually, I run Zoo Crypto where I sell people crypto zoo eggs like Logan Paul does, and I made $1 billion last year. These people wouldn't turn around and be like, oh, let's listen to what this guy has to say. His whole fucking issue with me is I'm like, we should have universal health care, work 3 days a week. No one should have to crowdfund their health care. Workers should have more rights than the fucking CEOs, and the people should be running this country. It shouldn't be fucking tyrants at the top, you know? But there's some people, you know, and I've read this and I've heard people say it online. There's some people, well, I've heard God say this. I read this in the Bible, man. He said, who are you to tell the fucking creator what one they're going to make a wastebasket and what one they're going to make a vase? Who are you to tell the creator that the lump of clay they should mold into this? And some people are just wastebaskets. That's it. I hate to break it to you. Some people were just meant to wake up, go to work, and make sure that nobody desecrates their dear fucking leader. And that's the truth of humanity, you know? The truth of humanity is some people that say I'm living the dream when they're at work and they just go home and they maybe fucking do nothing for an hour and they don't think about it and they eat a shitty supper where they hope the foodborne illness doesn't poison them so they can go to sleep early and get up for work tomorrow, and that's it. And I always wondered that. Like, I was sitting fucking somewhere today and I was like, do any of these fucking people understand that, like, this won't, like, if anything, the monotony of your life is not going to stop. It's progressively getting worse. When the inflation, when Donald Trump's driving shit up, which that's what's happening today. Just so you know, with the new tariffs, we already learned about tariffs. They're illegal, number one, and you're going to pay the cost. And after you pay the cost, Donald Trump's going to give it back to the corporations who charged you for those tariffs. So they're double dipping in the fucking cookie jar. And I'm like, and when this stuff continues to happen, right? It doesn't mean anything's going to get better for us. You just heard Donald Trump say, I don't give a shit about American farmers. Argentina, that's who I care about. Argentina first. Make Argentina first again. You know, MAFA. Or whatever the fuck. Whatever the fuck it is. And I just wonder, like, are any of these people going to wake the fuck up and be like, oh shit, if we don't do something now, it's going to get much, much worse. We've already watched the progression exponentially get horrible within 2 years. 2 years. But do you, like, the long-term effects of this, I don't even think we understand. With the data shit, yo, did you hear, hold on, let me find, I'm going to skip over some news stories. This Flock CEO, like, dude, I'm seeing, the funny thing about this Flock CEO, right? Hold on, where is he? Where is this absolute dipshit? Oh, did I not take a picture? I swear to God I did. Maybe I didn't. It's been a rough day, whatever. Whatever, we'll just put this up there. We'll just put this one up there. The Flock CEO is defending AI cameras. I'm gonna play this with Kaylee McEnany. Kelly Flackenshinny. Whatever her name is, on Fox News.
Value my privacy. My family values.
He's saying, if you missed that, he's saying, I value my privacy.
I value my privacy. My family values their privacy. My employees value their privacy. But what we're talking about is safety as well. And so I think when people talk about just one of these, privacy or safety, they're prioritizing the wrong thing. And what we have to prioritize as a country is compromise. How do we have our safety and how do we balance privacy?
Buddy. Putting a flock camera on every fucking corner, and then if you've seen about how Palantir is working with the cameras and the radar, and like they're turning the entire, every fucking satellite, anything that has a camera on it, into one system. Like, there's no compromise there. That's the other thing you got to understand about these CEOs. They're not here to compromise. They're here to bribe your politicians to make the laws to allow them to do whatever they want. If there was a compromise, all of these companies would be like, hey, we like strong unions so we can come to the table and do fair negotiations with our employees.
And so when I think about legislation that calls for an outright ban, that's like banning vehicles.
It's not like banning vehicles. vehicles in a lot of America are essential for people to get to work because there's no real infrastructure of like high-speed rails, and the buses aren't that great, and they've perpetually just underfunded and not invested in any kind of like, good traffic or good public transit infrastructure. So it's much different. This is a weird argument. It's like banning, I don't know, ring cameras. Maybe that, but even that one, it's like, well, that's, not in public spaces. I don't know what the equivalent is, but it's not like banning cars.
Never have made sense. Instead, what we did is we introduced laws against drunk driving. We introduced laws around seatbelts, laws around airbags.
Whenever they want to take away our freedoms, it's always about for our safety. And this technology extends far beyond license plate readers at this point. Flock Safety is putting up cameras in parks, on trails, and playgrounds. And these are AI cameras that track people, no longer just license plate readers. This is about the mass surveillance network being established in America, and nobody's falling for it. If we look at the comments here, they will always use safety as an excuse when they want to infringe on your privacy. Rip them down. Never give up liberty for the sake of safety. Benjamin Franklin said, those who give up liberty for safety deserve neither. So everyone agrees that this is the wrong move. We do not want to give up our privacy for the sake of safety is what we did with COVID, and it was a wrong move.
And I think these are just the testing waters. You know what I mean? Like, these CEOs are seeing how far they can go with Flock, because what comes next, I don't know. Remember there was all that talk about they're going to chip you, and Elon Musk had Neuralink and all, like, that's easily the next progression. That's easily, if they're going to scan and facial recognize and plate scan and have cameras everywhere, in your public spaces, and just be able to do it. And they're not using it for public good. They're using it for fucking whatever they need it for, You can read the story. Just look up who's getting arrested for Flock cameras. I just seen a bunch of charges. Where did I see that? It was all mischief. And I was like, that's so funny. I remember when I caught my first mischief charge, and I thought, like, this is such a bullshit fucking law language. The legalese thing. Mischief? Give me a break. Really? That's a charge? Get the fuck out of here. And now they're charging people with mischief using Flock cameras. We've already heard the stories of cops trailing exes and stuff. Like, this is not... if this is for the public good, the public should be in the ones, there shouldn't be a private CEO dealing out what they're using it for. This should be the public fucking getting to utilize and have access and democratic control over the cameras. I don't think none of them should be up. But at what point are they fucking clipping us with necklaces or putting chips in? I mean, they're not going to be able to implant stuff, but I think it's safe to say that, you go to work and you have a key card. I'm pretty sure they're going to start issuing some kind of bracelet, necklace, ear, something. They're going to try to normalize something that you're going to have to carry around to exist in this society. I think this is like the little test. I think this is like, let's see how far we could push it with surveilling people, because once we surveil people, if we just fucking chip them, then we really got control, and it's just shocking to me America can even for a second think any of this shit's cool. Especially all the Karens and the people that you see out in public when they're like, you can't film me out in public, and some guy's like, yeah, I can, you're in public. And the people who are like that adamant against filming when they're, I don't know, dropping the N-word or something, like they should be, because here, MAGA, let me position it like this. What if you're a real racist piece of shit and you're out in public just yelling racist stuff, Do you want a woke communist taking control of those Flock cameras and putting you into woke prison because of the language you use? You know what I mean? Listen, I'll put my face on this shit all the time. That's why I told you I love wearing a mask when I go out in public. That's why I told you, Fuck these motherfuckers. You don't need to know who the fuck I am, where I'm going. They're already trying to track us all the time. They're already using our phones to do it. We don't need... The only way to stop it is come together and quit falling for the divisive propaganda. This and Epstein arrests are common ground. You would think, Loris. Thank you. Oh, hold on. The best Goku. Are you a homosexual man? This might not be the right chat for you. I think you're looking for Tim Pool. I think you're looking for the Tim Pool podcast. Okay, that's a little bit down the road. It's right after the where the GOP crashed Grinder. I think you're looking for the wrong place. Blessings from Corpus Christi. Oh, thank you. I need some blessings. I appreciate that, Corpus Christi. And a blessings to you. May God bless your day. And thank you, Smogan, for the $49.99 super chat. You can support me. You can support me easily by just hitting subscribe. I'm kind of going off of like, he's looking for Grinder. Yeah, absolutely. It's okay. There's a lot of MAGA that come in here and they're like, hey, is this the Grinder? Is this the Grinder live stream? And I'm like, nope. Keep on scrolling. Keep on strolling. You'll make it there. Don't worry. When the network starts to crash, you know you've made it. Okay? Zoo, 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 zoo. Hold on, my nephew. Zoo, 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 zoo. I love that name. My nephew just got two different tickets from Flock cameras. But it was such BS because the tickets were 4 minutes apart and one saying he's heading northbound, the other 4 minutes later saying he's going southbound. Were that what the tickets were for? You can't be going north and south within 4 minutes. This is what I mean, like, dude, and this is what I fucking despise about America. So many Americans have the mentality of like, yeah, but it hasn't happened to me yet. You know, and like, dude, that's the wrong attitude. Because as soon as it happens to you and you're like, oh, God, where is everybody that can vouch for me on this? It's like, they're all in jail, man. They locked all of them up. Trey, the upgrades coming to Flock is digital handshake with your phone. So if I'm in your car and you drive past Flock, it will see I'm with you. Then when I go by in my car, it will link me knowing. Trey, that's what I'm talking about, man. It's stuff I couldn't fathom, but of course, that's the next logical step, you know? That is it. That is it. They're not only, and that's what I mean. Like when you listen to, who was it? Edward Snowden. I'm almost pretty sure this video is still on YouTube. It's probably from 10 years ago. Edward Snowden did this Zoom conference, right? And he talked about the metadata, the macro data, the micro data. He talked about all the data that the NSA was, at the time, like getting on you, you know, illegally, just, you know, harvesting your data. Maybe some of it they're buying from corporations. And he talked about how that's an issue because basically what they're trying to do is figure out the habits of each human. Because every human has a habit. Think about how you go to work. Think about how you get home from work. It's usually just habitual. You don't think, you get home, you're like, did I just drive home? What the fuck's going on? Flocktober, folks. There we go. And I watched everything Snowden put out there. Okay, so you've seen this. So he's talking about like the macro data and the micro data. I forget what he calls it. It's a great video. If I can find it, I'll share it in my post later. If I remember. And he's talking about how they're doing that to basically fucking predict your behavior. That's all they want to do. They just want to know exactly your movements at that time. And Flock is taking that to a next level where not only are they going to predict your behavior, but they're going to predict your acquaintances, your close friend, and they will label it like that. They'll be like, this guy was in his car once, that's an acquaintance. There will be no more, like if you think, maybe that's what they're talking about when they're like, hey, we're just going to have AI lawyers, because there will be no more courts like you know, because if they can reasonably suspect that you were associated at one point with this person because a Flock camera caught their phone in your car, even if the signal they gave off was wrong and maybe it was the guy was walking by and you were stopped at a light, like there could be so many things that go wrong with technology. The internet crapped out for a second. They were like, oh yeah, we linked that car together. Like just think about, some of the fuck ups that police have done with so many things. And then if you know about the justice system, even if you're proven innocent by DNA or whatever, it still takes years to get you out. They're like, oh no, we haven't figured out how to forgive or how to fucking apologize for this. We just know how to lock people up real quick. And if you think what that's gonna lead to, and if you're one of the ones who's like, oh, I don't do anything wrong, has nothing to do with me. Oh, guess again, if you're even in the fucking vicinity, you might be in trouble. Talking about all this future crime, they have the ability to stop all CSAM. No, they're not. Listen, if you think they're going to give a shit about that, unless it's poor people in Alabama, unless it's fucking, some people in the Midwest, they don't fucking care, man. That's the truth. I'm sorry. We got Epstein people running the country, running the goddamn country. We got this dude as president right here, sitting next to Epstein, the most prolific trafficker in I don't know, in all fucking recorded history. I don't know, because I don't think anything's been recorded like this. You know, like we got the emails, man. We get the emails and the videos. Just remember, if you take a class, 41K watt green laser, point at flock cameras at least 10 feet away for up to 5 minutes. You to be a hero. It's your duty. It also costs $3,500 for them to replace it. Thought police comes after. Just look at the EU, Australia, and Canada now. Stand up and fight back. Thank you. That's what I try to do here every day. I just try to tell people, like, dude, this guy's running everything into the ground. Stand the fuck up, man. Cucks for flock. Mobile, Alabama. Best friends, that they be. That they be. That they be. I'm not going to read that smoking, but I saw it. Yeah, Sarah Connor, Terminator 2, sabotaging data centers at the beginning of the movie. Prophecy. See, there's so many movies. So many movies. It's us versus them. That's right. It's us versus them. I know what you meant. Don't worry, Loris. It's not left versus right. It's the bottom coming for the top. Oh, okay. We got. Let's play some more news. I don't fucking know. Here's Jared Kushner. Now, if you don't know, hold on. Let me just get the breakdown of Jared Kushner. Charles Kushner. When did he go to prison? Convicted of illegal campaign contributions, tax evasion, witness tampering, served in federal prison Montgomery. Issued a pardon by Donald Trump in 2020. A very rich man. And yeah, Kushner pardoned. I'm talking about Jared Kushner's dad. Real estate donations. Here we go. Kushner met personally with Harvard University's president Neil Rudenstein in '98, donated $2.5 million to Harvard. His son Jared was then beginning his senior year of high school, where he was not particularly good student with test scores below Ivy League standards. Jared was admitted to Harvard to the freshman class of '99, just 1 year later. Now, I want to tell you that because we're going to listen to Jared Kushner now. And it's important that everybody know Jared Kushner is telling everybody, just work a little bit harder, that you understand who the fuck's telling you that. Because I don't know if this is... I don't know if, like, I just knew that, or if you knew Jared Kushner's history and that his dad was a rich dude and he's just a Nepo baby, and then he got into the Trump family by marrying Trump's daughter, so he's like a extra Nepo baby, and that he got into Harvard because his dad donated $2.5 million, and that his dad was a criminal and was ripping people off and went to federal prison for it. But just when these people were like, you know, hey man, I'll do anything to get where I need to go, it's like, no, you won't buy anything. Do you fucking mean you have your dad buy it for you?
I just think it's something where if you want to accomplish something, you know, a lot of people I hear, they complain about what other people do or why it's hard or why it's impossible. And again, I say this as somebody who's been so blessed with so many things in life. But, you know, when I've had challenges or things I've wanted to achieve, I just focus and say, well,
Daddy, get it for me. Oh, wait. I'll let him finish. Sorry.
what can I do? And I'll read everything I can get my hands on.
Bro, you couldn't even bring up your test scores. He couldn't even bring up his test scores. His dad had to donate $2.5 million to Harvard because he wouldn't read everything and bring his test scores up.
If I fail at one, the door closes, I'll try the window. If the window closes, I'll try the chimney. If the chimney...
The great thing is like his dad, because his dad was so rich, he put in so many windows, lots of chimneys, extra doors. Not everybody has all that shit to try.
I'll try to dig a tunnel. It's just, if you want to accomplish something, you just have to go at it.
Yeah, this is rich. This is rich coming from Jared Kushner. You know, rich. But I need to make sure people understand. Hold on, I'll take this off. I'll take that off. What a joke this douchebag is. Now, did anybody know? This is where I get confused. Did you know about his dad, Jared Kushner? Charles Kushner? Did people know that his dad donated for him to go to Harvard? That's how he went to Harvard. And do people know, like, most of the Trump regime went to Harvard? So when they're like, hey, these woke colleges are fucked, you shouldn't send your kids there. It's like, well, why'd you hire everybody from the woke colleges? Like, do people know that? I knew about him. Okay. Nope. He just creeps me the fuck out. Yeah, listen, he's creepy as hell looking. Don't get me wrong. He looks like that child from that horror movie. No, I get that. But it's important that people know this stuff about the people because that's how you get in. Listen, Joe, it is kind of how you get in now. That is very true. That is true. That's how most Harvests get in. It's a big club and you're not in it. Listen, Trey and Joe, I'll tell you something. So I was working as a producer, like a freelance producer, right, for podcasts. I was helping people build podcasts. This is like 10 years ago, okay? So now I know you could just do a podcast on your phone, but at one point, like, people were still hiring people to help them figure out podcasts and start the marketing and the design and the fucking structure and, you know, double check their fucking work and record. Like, you put me in a studio and I can do whatever in the studio. So they were hiring me out, and I was working for this one dude who worked at Harvard. He was a Harvard professor. And we're down in this. It's so crazy because I was like, Harvard doesn't have studios, which I know is it MIT? No, Harvard has a radio station. I know I've been there because my boy was there, and I did a couple radio shows with him there. I'm trying to think. It was in Cambridge, so it must have been Harvard. Must have been. Anyways, I was like, really? They ain't got? He was like, no, we'll rent a studio. So I rented in the most ghetto fucking area, right? This studio, which was clearly for music producers. And, you know, we're going to this like triple decker apartment, knocking on the door, you know, you hear like pit bulls barking, and we go inside and it's a nice studio, perfect equipment, soundproof, everything. Like, it was legit, but you could tell it was meant for like the inner city rappers that were recording their albums there, not for some fucking dude from Harvard to record his podcast. But I was like, whatever, man. This is like the closest thing that I could get to Cambridge, and the price was the most decent. So we record the whole thing, and that's what my time was paid for. I'm there to record it, to fucking, you know, make sure the mix is good, and I send it to you, and that's it, man. If you want to pay me more, that's cool. And this guy kept reaching out, and he's like, can you tweak levels here? Can you do this? Can you add music here? Can you do that? And I was like, well, you gotta pay me. And he didn't want to pay me. But in our workings together, he said, you understand that what I do is a ticket to the elite. He said, if you come through me, you have a ticket to the elite class. He said, everybody that goes to Harvard, anybody that I work with, he said, that is your ticket to the elite. And there was something so disgusting about him saying that. Like, it was just like, it doesn't matter. You could be the most savage, feral human on earth that your parents just donated for you to get in, but as soon as you graduate, you are just a ticket. That is your Willy Wonka golden ticket stamped into the elite class. And that's what you see with Jared Kushner, you know. Who's been in the chat? Yeah, how the fuck did Harvard not have a studio? I don't think they had like a production studio, because what I'm trying to remember is, so my boy did the Harvard radio show, which I would go in. I forget what nights, but I can't remember if they had like their own production studio, because the production studio is like totally different. You can't record, like, you could record in a main studio. You know, we've recorded shit in the radio studio, but it's technically not meant for that. You know what I mean? Like, a production studio is very specific to like recording stuff. So. But I just can't, it's been so long. It's been so long, I just can't remember the specifics. But I just remember that dude telling me, like, this is the ticket to the elite. And I was like, ugh, gross. Oh, gross. This is true, and why you should send your kid to Harvard for the connections, not the schooling. 100%, Trey. 100%. And that was the other thing that kind of, like, you know, just put me off about that guy. Because I think he was also trying to allude to, like, if I just do favors for him and do work do extra work for him that he has not paid me for. Like, potentially, he could, I don't know, it would pay off. And I'm just like, that's not how I operate, man. You want to pay me for my time, that's fine. But if not, figure it out yourself. And never heard from him again. And this is where my friends tell me, you need to learn how to play the game, man. And I say, my fucking life isn't a game. I'm not cashing in on some dude with a loose promise, Like, back it up. Throw some money at a dog, and I'll fix whatever you want. Well, is everybody that goes to Harvard and Ivy schools, they all have super high-ass paying jobs. That's what called. Oh, yeah. But that's why I was saying, it's a power trip people have. Exactly. It's not a game. Yeah, Joe. But and so that's like the other part of it, It's like these Harvard graduates. And listen, I'm not shitting on Harvard. I'm sure you could get a great educated. There are MIT, Harvard, Yale. I'm trying to think what else. Stanford. There's like free classes you can take, which I've taken some of them. There's Coursera. That's an app. Which they're super informative. The people there truly, like the people that are teaching there, some of them are truly super, super, super talented. But I'm also saying, like, there are people that just go there for the connections. And it's funny to me that this regime, Donald Trump and friends, these people are trying to promote colleges like they're bad for your mind. And if you understand, just Google. Like, how many people graduated from college that work for Donald Trump? The list is long. Jared Kushner's one of them. So when he's like, college, Harvard is a woke college, don't, we hate Harvard or whatever the fuck he says. It's like, dude, your son-in-law graduated from there. Pretty sure Marco Rubio, RFKJ, Steve Bannon. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to think of a loose list. They're sure you could Google it. A ticket to the elite don't pay bills, Jack. I love the uneducated. That's what he said. What's up, Bob? All I know is I wouldn't go to a doctor that went to Trump University. Well, fortunately, they closed Trump University down, fortunately. I tried college twice, 2 years of chem. Oh, chemistry. 4.5 years of music. There we go. But I don't think, that's the thing that people, that's the shitty thing about college, man. People have to take on debt for it most of the time, and it shouldn't be that. We should want our people to get the most educated ever. Okay.
The K-shaped economy, explain that real quick.
Yeah, this K-shaped economy, I started using the term a year ago and it really caught on. And basically it's the notion that most of the spending in the economy is coming from the top 20% of earners. So these are people in America who are earning about $170,000 or more. And their reality is just totally different from everybody else in the bottom 80%. And so that's the K, the sort of diverging, top 20% continues to live La Vida Loca. They continue to travel to Europe. They continue to spend on birthday parties and weddings and cars. Most new car buying is happening in this top 20% segment. Meanwhile, in the rest of America, people are kind of treading water. Yes, they're still spending, but they're spending more and more at discount and warehouse stores. They're really having to budget and economize, and they're feeling it. They're feeling a financial squeeze.
And that, you mentioned the K-shaped economy. Explain that real quick.
Hold on, pause it. So, the average transaction price for a new car in the U.S. is about $50,000. Meaning roughly half of all new vehicles sold, half are priced above $50,000. Vehicles listing under $30,000 only make up 13% of the market. Oh my God. Automakers now offer 114 models priced at 60 grand or more, up significantly from previous years. And Donald Trump's putting on tariffs on Canada for cars. Oh my God. Oh my God. So cars are going to get even more expensive. You're going to pay for that. And then when another court hearing goes through and they make those tariffs illegal, the car manufacturers are going to get those back. Oh my God. Actually, I don't even think we make cars in America, do we? I don't think so. I don't think so. What was this? Oh yeah, did you see this? The father of a U.S. sailor deployed aboard the Lincoln was detained by ICE on Saturday. Awesome. America first. What is this? Palantir co-founder Joe Lonsdale, major force pushing the Trump admin to lock up unhoused people. Like, why? You know? He created the Cicero Institute. Whenever you hear some shit like that, like, just know it's a lobbying group. 8 years ago. Instrumental in passing new criminalization, camping or sleeping in public in 16 states. I love how they say it's unclear why the billionaire has a passion project of getting homeless people incarcerated. I'm guessing look into if he invests in for-profit prisons. After selling beef that was rejected by China because it contains chlorophenicol, an antibiotic banned in the US, EU, and Russia, and Argentina's, what does that say? I can't see it. Argentina's selling beef that was just rejected by China. It can cause idiosyncratic aplastic anemia, which is not dose dependent and can be fatal from even trace exposures in genetically susceptible individuals. Makes one wonder why Trump got a 25% discount. Oof. And what was the other thing that fucking happened, man? I just seen this going on. Donald Trump really gives a shit about America, right? Over 3,000 workers laid off as Tyson Foods closes meat packing plants. Oof. To be clear, Trump just made buying Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ford cars and trucks 50% more expensive for Americans to buy. He's purposely hurting the auto industry, raising prices and destroying relationships with allies. This is his Truth Social from earlier, you know. Canada has been ripping off the United States for years. Oh my God. Oh my God. And people are just, I don't know, okay with it? I don't know. Lots of cars, 95 plus, come with shut-off options. All do now. Yeah, all of them do. Dude is always picking on Canada. Yeah, like, that's what I don't get. Like, Canada is notoriously known for their, you know, humanity, civility, courteous behavior. Why? Maybe that's why. Maybe Donald Trump thinks he can get away with it. Though I've seen some premiers and some Mounties, I don't know what they call them up in Canada. My apologies. But I've seen some people, you know, clapping back at Donald Trump. And that's the only way to handle a bully. But like, people okay with this? This is what I mean. Like, do we really think this is the solution, picking a fight with Canada now? And tariffs out of everything. He's doing tariffs again? Dude, where is MAGA? Is MAGA... we need more MAGA in here. We need to get MAGA in here. Because I just need to have a conversation with them. I just need to have a conversation with MAGA. Be like, do you think this is the solution to... what is the problem again? The fuck was the problem? Hold on. I don't even know. These people are just making up problems every day. Ripping off the United States, ridiculous high tariffs on our farmers and farm products. I don't know, maybe don't bail out Argentina. Maybe don't buy beef from Argentina. Okay. Great American Patriots has long created $60 billion between our two countries, not sustainable, not anymore. January 1st, 2027, tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small. No, but what was the problem? Canada will be treated like a state no longer. What? They're not a state. On trade and on other ways, they need us. They do 95% of their business with the U.S. with us. The exact opposite. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So what is the problem? He just says they're ripping us off? Like that's what people are going off of? Trump says Argentina is suffering, yelling at a reporter. Yeah, I just played that a little while ago.
As they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't.
But we just gave 10 months ago. We just gave them $20 billion. MAGA can't spell tariff. Yeah. Everybody's saying it. Don't worry, I'm the best. I'm gonna take care of it. What's the chainsaw in Elon Musk's there? A song for that? I don't know. What's up, Sid? What in the free world? Yeah. First time ever he said free world. Gotta go to the DMV. Man, I'll tell you, the DMV around me, it's not horrible, but you know, we could better fund it. What's up, Sid? Good to see you, man. Without America, Canada wouldn't be around. We let them have responsibility and they fuck that up. What are you... It's just a bunch of vague nothingness. Really? You're talking like Donald Trump right now. You know what? They've been taking advantage of us for too long. Just say how. You know, say what. And don't mention the farmers that you're not helping right now and the meatpacking plants are closing and that you're importing Argentinian rancid beef while you're also spending $20 billion on them 10 months ago. You know what I mean? It's like none of this shit makes sense. How do you come in here and say something like that? Like it's just all vague language to make you think somebody knows what they're talking about. It's just like when he's like, I'm a housing guy. I'm the economy guy. I know all the things. It's like, what? People who know stuff don't say that. Free world Illuminati. Well, possibly. Next pay period is going to be great. Everybody's saying it. Everybody knows it. Joe, that's one of my favorite things. The qualifiers, the superlatives, everybody knows it. It's the greatest ever. And that's all you hear from him. And I guess that convinces simple-minded people, you know? I would just want a little more than like, Canada's been ripping us off. I'm like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure this government's ripping us off. We keep paying taxes every year. I'm not seeing any kind of return on that. I'm just seeing more wars and more pedos getting to run free. You know, what are we funding these people for? So you're saying everybody's not saying it? Wait a second. Wait a minute. I don't know. That's the other funny thing. It's like if everybody's saying it, wouldn't you hear everybody saying it? It's the other thing I don't get. If everybody's saying something, you would have heard it before. Why is it just him all the time saying this? But then he has to march out his goons, you know, the goon squad, Scott Bessent and all these people go out on TV and say, just regurgitate what he said and maybe a different inflection. That's the trick, folks. Everybody's saying it, and then he's like, get out there and say it. Get out there and push the propaganda for me, please. You guys hear this? This was from Trump's speech today. This was kind of bananas. This is kind of bananas.
Every public school in America is now on notice that if they tell a child that they're trapped in the wrong body, they are committing child abuse.
The president just put every public school teacher on notice that they're going to be charged with child abuse. This is so fucking bad. Hey, don't forget, we live in the free world, folks.
And as we remove the far-left extremism from the classroom, we're taking historic action to ensure that every child in America has access to a first-class education.
What does that entail? Please define first-class education. Does everybody get to go to Harvard? Are we making colleges for free? Are we getting rid of student loan debt? What is a first-class education here in America? Please define that for me. Because the people who put the WWE lady in charge of the Department of Education, I don't think that's first. I don't think they're hiring the best. You know, I just don't think so. Let's see what he says, what they're going to teach American kids.
Nation in history, and we're teaching our children to love America, not to hate America.
To love America, that's the first class education. We're going to teach them that, hey man, this is the best that's going to get, and you better love it. You better love it. If you don't love it, then you're going to be in trouble. That's child abuse. That's America abuse. That's going to be a new charge. America abuse. Hey, kids, if you don't love America, that's America abuse, and you go to prison. Don't you love that? Don't you love that? This is when he says we're going to give them a first-class education. This is
Nation in history, and we're teaching our children to love America, not to hate America. There's a lot of love going on right now. Our country's never done this well. We have...
I don't know. I'm pretty sure we were doing better in gas prices just a few short years ago. Also, you know, what kids are you going to teach to love America? The kids that were trafficked by Epstein and you? Which kids? Because those kids are just going to, you know, defiantly not love America because they're watching you on TV while you just escape any kind of investigation into the charges that Epstein had and your role that you played in it. That's all over the Epstein files. So are we going to teach all the kids, or do some kids get a break? So some kids get a little star on their fucking jacket that will say like, hey, that kid was, you know, Epstein.
Billions and billions of different things happening, money pouring in at the rate of not even billions, trillions, over $19 trillion being invested in America right now. The last administration had less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We had 19, more than 19, 19.2 to be exact. And that's over a period of 12 months. We haven't even included the additional 5 months.
The fuck is he talking about? God damn, this guy. And then he's telling you that, I'm just going to play this clip because it's a very interesting thing.
Strongly requesting, even telling people when you get your shots for your young child, and this has to do, we think, with preventing autism.
Did you hear that? This has to do with we think. We have a hunch, guys. We have a hunch that what we're about to tell you might have to do with preventing autism. I know that we've said,
don't take Tylenol.
But this time we mean it, guys. This time the hunch is real.
To do, we think, with preventing autism, that you go to the doctor for 5 small shots instead of 1 big, massive shot.
Yep, that's it. That's the new fix. That's the new distraction. That's the new take the bait, run with it, guys. Fight everybody in your town. Fight the school system. Fight everything you can. Fight your doctors. Because the president said, we think.
Don't take Tylenol.
Shit, we fucked up. You can take Tylenol now, but we think.
Don't take Tylenol.
I love it. I love it. They think.
And this has to do, we think, with preventing autism.
Very confident statement from an alpha male. We think. Guys, we think this is the one. We're going to stop autism. We think. I don't know. Don't hold me accountable. I'm just up here reading stuff. Time is on the world's side. The USA, not so much. That's very true. Terrible times. That's very true. I will believe capitalism is bad when you understand that they're floating not from communist and socialist countries. They're floating from countries that have been suffocated by capitalist nations that wanted to strip them of their wealth and resources, right? You do understand that, right? This is like the culture war that I can't engage in anymore. It's too dumb, you know? Like, it's too dumb. It's just too dumb. Like, capitalism is horrible. And if you're not living in it, try it. Try getting cancer and seeing how well capitalism treats you. Yup, that's what I'm addressing, is Cuba. Cuba is not a failed socialist state. Cuba is a socialist state that was suffocated with embargoes and a lot of other things. There's many things you could read. Again, if you're just getting your information from people on TV that want you to believe this, or I don't know, Matt Walsh, oh man. Ugh, I just can't do it. That's one of the arguments where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. They're like, yeah, they're coming over from rafts from Cuba because it failed. It's like, you know why it failed? Because since the fucking 60s, the United States has not let Cuba and fucking bring anything in. China and Russia, I think, are like the only, and Venezuela are like the three countries that they are allowed to get shit from. That's why their cars are from the 50s. That's why, you know, and if you think they've failed as a state, you should look up how many doctors they have per ratio to their population. You should look up the people that go there to become a doctor for free. You should look up the ingenuity of the Cuban people and the resilience of the Cuban people, despite even now an oil embargo where there's been rolling blackouts. That wasn't because of socialism, it was because of Donald Trump. Good God, it's in front of your face. You know, like the United States is like, we're going to suffocate Cuba. We're not letting oil in now. And you're like, failed socialism. It's like that. You think the capitalist nation being like, we need to take over this land is failed social. You know what I mean? It's like, on its face, it doesn't even make sense. On its fucking face. This is where it's so exhausting. I'm like, I'm done with these fucking Americans who are like, yeah, man, look at that failed state of Cuba. Can't even survive when America cuts them off from oil. What a bunch of morons. It's like, do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? Imagine if China started doing that to America. They just said, we're going to surround you and you don't get any more fucking oil. Good luck, guys. You know, we're taking over your oil fields. Would then you'd be like, guess capitalism fucking failed. No, you'd be like, dude, we're being suffocated. Oh God, I'm so concerned for Americans. I'm like, so. Have you talked to a Canadian about socialists, about healthcare? Listen, if you're gonna tell me that Canada's healthcare is horrible, just come to fucking America, man. Talk to anybody who's lost their home because they got cancer. Talk to anybody who has to ration their medicine because they can't afford it. Talk to anybody who's denied a fucking claim after their doctor told them they need this and the insurance said no, our AI says no, and they have to fight an appeal. You know what I mean? Like, don't come to me about long lines or fucking choosing your doctor or any of that bullshit when we got 64,000 people a year, and it's probably more now, dying from lack of access to it. Oh, fuck, man. So what I mean, it's like, this isn't the argument, folks. We're not arguing about fucking whose healthcare is best. We're arguing that healthcare is a basic fucking human dignity. And yes, every socialized healthcare system in the world could be updated and improved because the capitalists, which are Canadians, they are capitalists in Canada. This isn't a fucking communist state. Have sunk their hands and teeth into it. So no matter where you go in this country, most countries that have some kind of socialized healthcare still have the sunken fucking teeth of capitalism in it, where they still want to leak out a little bit of a profit. It's just here in America, we have no social safety net. None. So if you can't afford it, you die. Put your house up for mortgage. You know what I mean? Or what are you going to do? You're going to fight the insurance companies? I can't fucking do it, man. Maybe just not today. But Loris, I just don't think you know what socialism means. Again, that's like the biggest thing. You know, like this is Zaria. Are you a lib? Like if you hear me talking about socialism, I'm not a liberal. That's the craziest part. Like these people don't even understand the words they're using, you know? You should really like look this shit up. I'm tired of doing it for you guys. You're on the internet. You can easily look up socialism and see what the fuck it means. Like easily. This isn't tough. Stop listening to Fox News or Donald Trump or the communist Red Scare that's going on right now. You know, understand that anyone that's a socialist is fighting for the people to have more power. Not the insurance companies, not the for-profit, Like and just say that. Just say, oh, you don't want these insurance companies to be able to make massive profits, 300 billion more in profits this year, which they've already have. I did that story. This year's not even over, and they've made 300 billion in profit. You know, like that's what you're for. And I'm for taking that 300 billion in profit and maybe saying, I don't know, 1 billion in profit is good enough. And the rest of the 299 billion should be reallocated to the kids, women, children, old people, men that need healthcare. You know, because you know where that profit comes out of the healthcare system, right? It comes from people being denied access to care. And then those people die, and just a few people at the top get the profit. But if you understand socialism, you'd say we remove those people from the top and it's more democratically handled. Seize the means of production, folks. Seize the means of healthcare. Seize the means of healthcare. I think that's what we got to start saying. How big does the yacht? Thank you, Joe. It's like, how big does the yacht have to get for you to be like, okay, that's enough, guys. This is a little excessive. Or is it because you don't see their yachts? I could put Joe Rogan jumping off the back of his yacht up for you if you want to see, and be like, all right. Them showing off like that. You know, where's my Joe? Where's my Jew? Where's my Jew? Where's my Joe? Oh no, did I delete my Joe too? No, here it is. Where's my Joe? There's Joe jumping off an inflatable slide off the back of his $50 million yacht, you know? Now, I'm not saying he's in healthcare, but what I am saying is the healthcare provider CEOs are probably just similarly in the water. You can look it up. These people are not, because you've made them so brazen, these CEOs are not against showing off their wealth, you know? Like, they're like, what are these peons going to say? They're just going to fight amongst each other while we keep racking in billions in profit off their debts. And you've helped allowed that. Anybody who's like, no, not socialized healthcare. Not everybody deserves healthcare. Like, that's what you allow the CEOs to do. You allow them to be more and more brazen, where they're like, look at this new $100 million yacht I got that has a submarine following in it. And I got all of that off of healthcare money. Healthcare money. Money, cha-ching. And the only time that the CEOs started removing their names from websites and started pretending like they weren't that brazenly wealthy, unabashed, fucking disgusting, obscene wealth that they can't spend for eons, is after Luigi. That was the only time. After Luigi, they were all removing their names from fucking... Usually they're so proud. They're like, oh, look at us. Investors can contact us. And Luigi happened to like that. They were like, everybody take our names down. Fucking hide your yachts, man. Hide your yachts. Do not want to be associated with this. That was the one almost spark of American Revolution in the fucking 21st century. And there's half of the people that are still divided on Luigi. And I'm like, I don't know. He saved millions of lives. Millions. You understand, after Luigi, right? What was it? Was it Blue Cross? I forget who the fuck it was. Rolled back their new protocol to put time limits and time restrictions on anesthesia. I had a friend whose brother became an anesthesiologist, right? Super high paid, super technical, super difficult fucking job to do. Because if you do it wrong, people die. And they will tell you that this is not something where time limits should be applied to cash in, you know, to say, hey, it's like a parking meter. Anesthesia should not be a parking meter. It should not be, hey, your time's up, put in more money so we can keep you under during the surgery. And they were stopping surgeries to say, hey, the time's up, charge them again or stop the anesthesia. And doctors would be like, what? We're in surgery. How'd you get this fucking number? These are real stories. And Luigi happened. And they said, okay, we're going to roll back. You know what? No time limits on anesthesia. We've heard you loud and clear. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a fucking response and call, like a goddamn hip hop club. We said, free Luigi, and they said, all right. No time limits on anesthesia. What's up, Charlie Kelly? Good to see you, man. Actually true. Yes, Joe. Never knew any of that. Really? See, this is why I don't know. Trey, thank you for saying you never knew any of that. Because I don't, sometimes I just assume that people are knowing this part of the story, you know? Again, I've been doing this for a long time, so I forget like how much stuff I've talked about in the news. But really, like, people maybe didn't pay attention to that or didn't notice that, but that was the closest we got to American Revolution. And if you're one of these people that laud the founding fathers and laud the American fucking spirit, you know what the American spirit is? The American spirit is like, dude, this is tyrannical. We're taking up arms. That's it. That's fucking it. There's nothing, it's not complex. It's like, fuck this noise. We're going after that. That's the American spirit. Why do you think there's so many gun nuts in this country? It's because if the government tries to come and take my out of my cold day, you know, and it's like, and that spirit has never existed. It was a bunch of fucking bravado by a bunch of fucking pedo worshippers. By the way, hold on. Underdogs. That's right. And they were underdogs. One big beautiful bill will cost $3.4 trillion over the next 10 years. And more than $4 trillion when accounting for additional interest owed. Trump did that. Have you even said thank you? Thanks, Josh Handley. Oh my God. I love the name. I Show Delusions. If someone wants to become a billionaire, that's their business and goal. We shouldn't tell people what to do. You're fucking wrong. We tell people what the minimum wage should be. If we took off the minimum wage, they would pay you fucking nothing. They would all be internships and you'd have to beg and plead for your job. There should be a maximum wage. There should be. Just by standard. Because this kind of excessive wealth, which you clearly don't understand with your delusion name, has only led to the cost of people's lives. That's it. That's it. When you have 300 billion to throw or 300 million to throw at an election, it's not a fair election anymore. That's what Elon Musk did. And this regime has cost people their lives. People have died due to these policies. And that's the weight that maybe someday if you wake up and look at yourself in the mirror when you grow up a little bit more, and you're like, wow, what the fuck was I getting into? What the fuck was wrong with me thinking that as a youth? And, you know, sometimes that's just the folly of youth, but sometimes it's also the folly of no character, thinking that these things don't have consequences. That political policies that are going to dictate your life don't have consequences. So no, billionaires should not exist. And we're already at trillionaires, so. Here's the other thing. Oh, Jess is here. What's up, Jess? I'm having a rough day, so if I'm a little brash, forgive me. But it's Jess, so I can say whatever. You know how I was thinking about this today? You know how you come in and you go, just a reminder, MAGA isn't human? I don't like that, and I finally figured out why. Because MAGA is human, and I want MAGA in the chat. I want MAGA in the chat. I want them in here. I want them hearing this, because what you hear, you cannot unhear. But it's also important to establish that these people are human. They're your neighbors. They're in your community. They are Americans. And that's why I say, as much as they fucking hate me, I'll always advocate for them to have health care. And I'll never want to watch somebody they love die because they're rationing medicine. But the important part of understanding, comprehending, and reiterating that MAGA is human to them is because what these fucking people do is they denigrate all of us. This is what MAGA comes in to do. They go, you don't have a job, you're not worth listening to. You don't have this, you're not worth listening to. You live in your mother's basement, you're not worth listening. They want to dehumanize all of us. They do it to minorities, they do it to the vulnerable, they do it to everybody, because then it takes them off the hook. They go, well, those aren't even, we don't even qualify them as humans. This guy talking on the fucking live stream, yeah, he's showing his face and I never would, but he doesn't have a job. That's what they love to say, right? And calling MAGA not human, I think is such a disservice to the cause. And Jess, I love you, so you keep doing what you're doing. I'm just saying, like, it was really rattling around my head, because again, once you hear something, you can't unhear it. And I was like, why does it bug me so much? And I thought, because if you dehumanize something, there's no accountability. You know, what are you going to give accountability to a fucking tin? You're going to give accountability to a remote? No. The remote drops on your foot. You're not like, God damn, why'd you get in my way? Why are you doing that? You know, inanimate things have no accountability, okay? Humans need accountability. And that's the one thing that Donald Trump has given them to write off. They get to write off being accountable. They get to write off fucking, basically being anti-American, because that's what MAGA is. They hate their neighbors. They hate anyone without a job. They hate the homeless. They hate the vulnerable communities. They hate the marginalized. They hate anybody who's not thinking like them. And Donald Trump has given them an allowance to be that kind of shitmonger and just write people off and just basically tell Donald Trump every day through his fucking language is telling you, you know what? If these are communist woke people who want you to have health care, they are not American. And people that follow him go, you're right. I don't have to be accountable for my behavior. This is why I have Joe Rogan up too right now, because he was like, I can't say the R word. We're going to vote for Donald Trump. And he did more than that. But it's like, what was that statement saying? He was like, I don't want to be accountable to people being like, dude, that's gross. Don't use that word. Stop it, man. You know, like, come on. There's other words you can use. And Joe Rogan didn't want to be accountable. And MAGA doesn't want to be accountable. And I think that's the one thing they fear the most. The one thing they fear the most is the day of reckoning, when they're whether it's within their own soul or whether it's within the confines of the structure of society and culture we have created. But these people should be held accountable, 100% accountable for the things they do. And I think that's, when I was thinking about it, I was like, that's what really bugs me. That's why I'll play Joe Rogan. That's why I'll play Tim Dillon. That's why I'll play Theo Vaughn. That's why I'll play Andrew Schultz. That's why I'll play... who else was a pretender? You know, the people that interviewed went along with it, and now they're like, oh, this is crazy. Who could have predicted this? And it's like, well, everybody predicted this. You just grifted your way to money, and then once you realized this was real bad for the people, you grifted your way into like, hey, I'm not for this. And these people need to be accountable. They need their feet fucking held to the fire. Sorry. The chat was frozen. I'm sorry. Dehumanizing as a means of self-defense. They do it to my community, so I want to make them suffer the same way that they cause to my community. I totally get that. Jess, like, and don't get me wrong, I understand the context. I understand the context. I truly do. And that's why I was saying why it bugged me. You know, because I get it. There's a different world that you're coming from that I fully can't understand, but I can get your sentiment. You know what I mean? Like, I get your sentiment. I truly do. And I couldn't fathom it, you know? And that's what most MAGA doesn't understand, that they were like, when I was playing the Jared Kushner shit. Like, that dude was born to a rich dad who went to federal prison and then fucking got a pardon from Trump. And also his rich dad like donated to Harvard $2.5 million so he could go to Harvard. And then he turns around and he's doing podcasts where he's like, no matter what, I just worked really hard. If the door closed, I opened a window. And it's like, he did none of that shit, man. You didn't bring up your test scores to get into Harvard. Your dad donated, you know? Like, that's not finding a window. Finding a window would be like, man, I really got to apply myself. No, he just let his dad fucking get him off the hook. But I just, you know, I understand where you're coming from. I can't fully understand it, but I get it. But for me, and that's why, like, you know, with the chat, it's important that MAGA comes in here. Because irregardless of how they operate, how they act in the chat, they need to hear this shit. Because they're consumed. And this is my proof, too. I forget what post I made. I made a post, right? And it's gotten like, I don't know, like 50,000 people looking at it. And when a post like that, you start getting alerts all the time. So you just start fucking ignoring them because it's mostly MAGA being like, TDS. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. He really gave them something to fucking latch onto. They don't have to think much, you know? He doesn't allow them to think. He just mama bird regurgitates whatever they need to say. And that's what they don't want to critically think. They don't want to think. They just want to be told what to do. So I was talking about the potter and the clay and how you don't tell God who he's making a vase and who he's making a wastebasket. But this one guy, I don't know how it caught my eye. Again, it was ordained for me to see this one guy's comment on the post. I think the post was the one where I said Donald, where I took the meme and it said Donald Trump under real threat, and he's like, you know, all strong and you know, fist in the air, and then Donald Trump under fake threat and he's all strong, and then Donald Trump under real threat and he's, you know, hiding in the decoy plane. And that pissed people off, man. That's how it went viral, because it made so many MAGA mad. But the reason I know they need to hear this shit is because one dude, one fucking MAGA guy, his whole comment was, how am I seeing this in my feed? He said, I never get TDS stuff like this in my feed, and all of a sudden this comes into my feed. And I thought that's such a telling thing, not only about the algorithms and how demented it keeps us in our own little bubbles, but about what's happening to MAGA right now. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, did this get into your safe space? And then I said, that's good. My comment's still up. You can go find it. I don't know how many comments are on that. And I don't think he was expecting that. He didn't write me back, but that's the truth. What this commenter was saying was like, how did this offensive triggering meme get into my feed? I'm in a safe space where all I hear is Donald Trump telling me everything's great and nothing can go wrong and everything he's doing is awesome and all of his people are saying the same thing, so I'm good. And I thought, that's amazing. I fucking punctured the MAGA safe space. And that's why my thing went viral. You know, I don't know how many views. Last time I checked, it was like 47,000 on a post, on just a fucking post. And that's viral for me, okay? I'm a small channel. I'm at 13,000 subscribers. If you want to support, hit subscribe, please. I don't know how much longer we're going to be doing this, to be honest. If I don't hit like 15,000 subscribers in like a week, I don't know if I can. I don't know. My life just fucking, I don't know. Who knows? It doesn't matter. But I realized I had punctured the safe space of MAGA, and that's why shit went viral. It's also why, like, I feel like there's no hope for this, because unless I'm trying to just be triggering to MAGA and get into their feed, which, you know, they're not going to subscribe to me, or try to fucking, I don't know, keep hoeing this leftist road of like, dude, we should have healthcare. Like, nobody in this country should go without healthcare when there's 2.5 million people that were just kicked off fucking affordable care. That they're, you know, stripping the subsidies while we're going to war, and the president's enriching himself with so many different things and building ballrooms and helipads and fucking granite. You know, it's like, dude, the money's being spent all wrong. And that is a very hard road to hoe. But puncturing that fucking MAGA safe space made me realize that, like, these people do need to hear it. Because I thought, you know, he hasn't written me back, so I don't know what the fuck this dude thinks. But I think that was probably shocking for him, that I was like, oh, I got into your safe space. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. You're seeing something outside. It's just a meme. It's just funny. But you were triggered, you survived, and you realized the world is not out to get you. And that the guy posting it was even telling you, like, hey, that's good. You're getting outside of your little comfort zone. So, sorry, I haven't. What if you buy all the yachts and pass along that you can't have one? Also, I get to take your land. What if I say, God gave me your yacht 3,000 years ago? You could try that. I showed delusions again. Like, your arguments just don't make sense. It's not about if somebody wins the lottery, okay? We're not, what you're talking about with billionaires is not them winning. Well, some of them won the birth lottery, but you need to look into how they became these massive figures. Look into the structures that they were able to exploit the wealth from the people doing the work to get there, okay? It's just genuinely, just, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're young. I think you're young. Again, these are like arguments I was enduring like 15 years ago. No. This is the shit I can't do, because it's like, God, I don't know, maybe America, a lot of Americans are so stupid that they don't understand. Like, if you build a business and you're exploiting people, like here in Massachusetts, if you're a server, you're paid $6 an hour, and you're basically, as a business, you get to pay them less and hope that the customer makes up the difference, right? That's a fucked system. Okay? The server system is based on Jim Crow South. It's just dealt through racism, and probably MAGA doesn't know that. But the fact is that if you have a business and you can't fucking provide people a living wage, your business should not exist. And I don't mean a living wage is $15 an hour, $20 an hour. I mean a living wage that fucking they can rent a place by themselves, buy food, go on vacation, and fucking have health care without struggling. Without. And businesses don't do that. Businesses exploit. That's why you see the people at the fucking top making out like bandits, having yachts and shit. You know, it's always amazing to me. And people truly can't grasp that. You don't know why we have a minimum wage, do you? I want to see if you can answer this. Do you know why we have a minimum wage? I'm genuinely wondering if you. I've testified, and I've been on TV to talk about the minimum wage. So I want to see if you know why we have a minimum wage. I would love for you to answer your own question, or back up your statement. Hey, we don't need any hints, little fitter fitness, okay? It's okay, but no hints. Punk rock, I'm back. What did I miss? I just been on a tirade. I'm having a bad day, man. Having a bad day. Delusion is delusional. Yeah, but I just want to see, because these people love to come in here, then fight to raise the... See, no, delusions, you need to answer. Why do we have a minimum wage? I'm not telling you. You have the internet. You can look this shit up, my friend. Fight to make the minimum wage. Here's the thing, buddy. When I told you I testified at the State House, that I've been on TV, that I've fucking canvassed and fought and done this show and fucking organized my workplace, what do you think I was fucking doing? What do you think I'm doing right now? This is all I do, is I fight for the working man to have it better. Do you know who I fight against? The people you defend. And you're not so fucking savvy. Hey man, if everybody wins the lottery, should they give it away? It's like, do you know who that comment benefits? Do you understand who you're benefiting with that comment? You're benefiting the richest people who will never, ever have to worry about rent or groceries or diarrhea blueberries or anything like that. So what I'm trying to fucking tell you is that that's all I've done, is fight for better. And it's so weird to watch people come in and go, that's why we have a minimum wage. And I go, why? Finish your own statement. You're saying that's why. So tell me, the guy who knows why the fuck we have a minimum wage and who has had to even surprise Democratic senators who thought I was on their own side on fucking Channel 2 when they were like, wouldn't this be great if we raised the minimum wage? And I was like, to be honest, Senator, it's too little too late. You're talking about the increase over 4 years by 2028. And I said, what will the inflation be by then? I said, this stuff needs to happen now, and it needs to happen bigger than what it is. And the Democrat was shocked. And I'm sure I'm never invited on TV again, because I'm not going to fucking placate and be like, oh, yes, sir, Senator, it helps so much. In 4 years, if this ever happens, it would be amazing. I'm not going to fucking kowtow to these cunts. And to be honest with you, though, the organizer behind it all, she did invite me back for other things. They thought it was kind of cool. So delusion, you're not going to answer the question, and this is what I mean. But at least I put that thought in your head, delusion. You know, now you're going to have to wonder, well, why do we have a minimum wage? Go back and read about FDR. You can actually listen to his speeches. I've played it here, 1931, fucking, or 29. One of his speeches, he talks about it, you know. He talks all about it, my man. Elon Musk also has to be bailed out by the government more than once. And when he's bailed out, it's not like a little bit of money, you know? In fact, we're floating his fucking The pensions, the 401k, we're floating his trillionaire status. Like, that's just the fucking free loan he got from us. It should be criminal. That motherfucker should be detained by ICE. Rich people waste our tax dollars with no return on the investment. No return. If you fucking pump money into a community, people get healthier, less strain on the healthcare system. They don't feel the need to fucking, have to go out and possibly do something illegal, less strain on the fucking criminal for-profit system. And on top of that, they can get educated. Have you ever been a hungry kid at school? You think it's easy to take a test or fucking worry about the next class when you're starving at school because you have a debt for lunch? It's just common sense shit, There's a return on our investment. What's up, Karen? I'm tired of being the one fighting all the time too, Rob, but people like us don't get to give up because if we don't do it, no one would. Jess, I know you play to my heart. You play to my heartstrings, but I'm just being honest right now. I'm not doing well, and I don't feel like if there's no traction on my channel, I just feel like maybe throwing this shit away, and just being like, fuck it. I just, I don't know. I don't know. Because I love doing this. I'm so grateful for my members, subscribers. I'm so grateful, but I'm like, at what point, because especially like with the members, like I feel bad, right? Because I don't have enough time to produce what I want to produce for you guys. And with life getting not even incrementally, but substantially difficult, and it's on all of us. This is getting substantially difficult. At what point do you keep pursuing your dream and your passion? And at what point do you, I don't know. This is where like I'm at a crossroads. I've been talking to God a lot lately, because I just don't know. I'm like, is this a road that I'm hoeing that just, I don't. Oh, delusions. Just so you know, buddy, once you stopped answering my questions, I'm done. You can chat all you want, but I'm not gonna entertain your bullshit, because that's the thing that I've learned in life. I'm just too old. You know what I mean? Like, one of the things I learned is once somebody who starts fucking talking out their ass and, making claims that they can't back up and they have no proof for the fucking things that they're saying, and they just show that they're kind of this peacocking bravado of a fucking internet troll. I don't take you seriously. I'm sorry. It's just a personal boundary I have. I can't take people seriously that are like, oh, you just really? Your advice before was so good when I was like, oh, really? Why? Why is that delusion? And you disappeared, So just so you know, that's just a personal thing. It's nothing against you. It's my personal boundary where I'm like, oh yeah, if I listen to morons, they're going to fucking drag me down to their level and beat me with experience. It's just a personal thing. So no offense, but go ahead, keep chatting. Nobody's gonna, put you in timeout for a day or nothing. Go ahead, keep chatting. I've ran for a political thing, just so you know. Like, this is the funny thing. People start suggesting shit to me. I'm like, I've done it. I've been on a ballot. I challenged a guy who had 13 years, no fucking challenger, and I was like, not on my watch. No. But again, just like the chat, money speaks to them. Speaking of that, you see that, I think I deleted the Andrew Tate thing. You see that in court paperwork, Andrew Tate was saying that he rented his Bugatti. There's so many clips of him online being like, what color is your Bugatti? People are fucking making fun of me. And it's like, I don't know, maybe because you rented yours? Well, I could have any color, whatever one they have at the rental fucking place that day. Damn, man, things are getting harder. It's showing signs on all of us. Hang in there. Thank you, Jess and me. Worst come to worst, none of this stuff matters in the end. Yeah. Yeah. I sent you all I had for gifts. Keep moving on, man. Hey, I appreciate that. And listen, guys, I'm really not trying to vent to, like, get anything out of this. Today you're going to see my frustration. I'm not really in a good mood, and I'm fucking frustrated because, you know, I give, I do, as much as people are like, you do nothing. It's like, listen, there's a lot fucking going on, but I always take time to do this show. And I just feel like, I'm not sure. I can't figure it out. You know, I'm like, maybe the show's not good enough. It's not funny enough. I'm missing topics. I'm not doing the thumbnails right. I started scheduling. I started keeping it to 420 every day. I'm really trying to curate what I can fix on my own. But there's so much, you know, like I gotta sit whenever I'm doing shit like today when I did, whoops. If you remember, you see that I went live at noon something. And when I'm doing stuff, I'm just trying to read the news. And there's so much fucking news. And it's like, what do you focus on? You know, what do you focus on? Number one, I think Trump, because he's always out there in the news. He's always, every day, there's fucking him in front of a podium saying some bullshit. And I think it's important to fucking combat that with like, well, this guy's a liar. But then what's the balance of like, what else do you cover? And if you're not, that's the other thing that I really fucking hate. It's like, if you're not covering what is viral that day, you're not in the algorithm, you know, because there are some days where I'm just like, man, I just want to talk about this. That's it. That's why we go down those rabbit holes, you know? Big companies paying their employees more doesn't really cost them much, but there are a lot of piece of shit managers around. Yeah. Well, plus, remember, Thorne, good to see it. They have, Rob, I know this, man. I come to and I need to be educated about things that I've not been caught up on. I appreciate that, Tabby. I appreciate that a lot. Well, and that's what I'm just like, and that's the other thing that I feel on my end. You know, on my end, I feel like I watch Hassan when I can. You know, usually I just have an ear in while I'm doing shit. And I hear him and I'm like, this dude is super intelligent. He's super educated. Even when he gets shit wrong, like he dives into stuff and he'll, you know, he's not giving you the surface level stuff like a lot of the time. I have to touch the surface level because I ain't got time to fucking, you know. There's even times where you guys come into the show and I'm like, I gotta look this up. I'm like, this is shit we should have done before. But I'm like, when the fuck I have the time, you know? I really wish I had the time to sit and fucking meticulously go through some things, and more importantly, you know, wasn't doing it was doing it in a different way. So I want to keep people up to date on the latest, and I would like to be reliable for at least giving a laugh and showing people that they can stand up to the bully and the bullshit and the trolls, because that's the other thing that really concerns me, man. Whether it be, you know, the youth in America, that so many people fall victim to this virtual space that is not fucking real. You know what I mean? And if you catch somebody who thinks they have enough authority, like in the comments, right? Delusional, thinks he's just going to keep typing, I'm going to keep reading. And what he doesn't understand is I don't subscribe to that shit. And that's what I really hope to instill in people. That like people could say shit online just as easy as they could say it in life, maybe even easier. And you don't have to acknowledge it, recognize it, fucking engage with it. You don't have to do anything, you know? And especially after these people have proven to you that they are unworthy of your dialogue. And that's what delusion was, you know? Delusion is just unworthy to have any kind of dialogue, you know? It's all fucking straw man and bait and go over here and look over here and fucking distraction shit. And if he wanted to have a dialogue, when I said, what is this? You know, back up your statement. And then he just disappeared until he thought he could detract from my conversation again. I had to let him know. And that's what I hope to, you know, at least have a record on the internet of like, this is how you can operate in a live stream. I see too many people buying into bullshit, man. You know? And it's not real. Who knows? That's probably some fucking kid, you know, 20 years old, still living at his parents' house. His parents are both fucking working. He wishes they were here. He doesn't know what's for dinner, and the fridge is kind of fucking light, and he's just got to kill some time, you know? And he's heard this shit on Fox News because his dad gets home from work late, and he'll hear this shit in the background. So he thinks this is the way, you know? Like the goddamn Mandalorian. This is the way. And what he doesn't understand is that, you know, like most of his suffering comes from the fucking policies his parents helped implement. And yeah, they might have got off a little bit easy because they're older. Maybe they own the home that he's still living in, and that they thought the policies that they were going to implement would be America first. But they're soon, you know, they're soon finding out if they haven't already. And maybe he loses his health care and his ADHD medication has to be rationed. So he's a little bit off kilter now. But this is the shit that people don't understand, you know? That I just made all that up. But that could as well be fucking true, you know? And once you start engaging with that, that's why I love my community. Because, you know, if you've been here long enough, we have a bit of a relationship. Not all business owners are bad. Nobody said that. What we're saying is the people who exploit the workers are bad. Or do you like to be exploited? I don't know, maybe you got an exploitation fetish and you're like, I don't know, exploitation is pretty good. Yup, the Yale University study, Medicare would save 114,000 lives a year. Billionaire's good, Soros bad. Explain. They can't. They can't. They cannot. They cannot explain that. They cannot explain that. They cannot explain that. Okay, I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. I should have not. This is why, like, some days I'm like, actually, I'm here almost every day, but some days I'm like, maybe I should take a break because I'm not gonna be fun to be around today. I'm like, I know pretty well that I'm not gonna be a joy to be around, you know. And then you gotta play clips of like Donald Trump and shit, and you're like, oh, this is not gonna be a good day. This is not gonna be a good day. I don't know. Is there anything you guys want to talk about? I got like another minute or two. Exploitation is bad. Okay, Lori, so you understand that. So we're not talking about all business owners. We're talking about the majority of business owners that operate in the fucking cultural dynamic of America, where you exploit the workers and not pay them enough, which is set by the monopolistic fucking titans of industry like Walmart, Amazon, CVS. I'm trying to think who else is in America. Target. They have all price fixed the cost of labor, okay? So if one company in your town, and this is a fact, you can look this up. If a company in your town becomes unionized, that union store is going to make 12 to 15% more than the shops around them, right? This is just history. And if that happens, what do you think happens in this free market? Well, people are going to go, wow, they're paying that much, I'm going over there. But because we have monopolies in America, where most towns will have a Walmart, a Target, and they try to drive out all other business, they set the wages. They've set it at what? 15 to 20. And if you know anything about living in America right now, that is not enough to survive. And don't get me started on it's a teenage job, it's a starter job. It's not. Go to any of these stores. It's not all fucking teens working there. And they don't close during school hours. These are just jobs. There is no fucking differentiating in jobs. You go to work for money to live. This is a basic understanding that we all had until fucking people started being like, no, some people should work and not be able to live. And once you start to operate in that paradigm, things change for you. And you're like, yeah, why is this mother working at Walmart and not being able to afford to live and having to have government subsidies when she's working a full-time job? Like, that doesn't make sense. That job at that company that's making trillions of dollars should be able to provide a wage where she can rent her own place and afford fucking shit. And it's just that, like, this is the most simple shit ever. And somehow people are like, no, it's not the company who's making a bazillion dollars. It's the lady. She just didn't go to school. She's a teen. She's a starter job. She should have done that. And they put all the blame on the fucking worker. And it's insanity. It's insanity. There used to be a point in America where it was just get a fucking job and you can live. And now it's, oh, why don't you get educated? Well, I can't afford to take on that debt. Oh, then you just should have to work 3 jobs and Uber Eats after. And this is the fucking psychopathy of living in America. That people don't think just working a job you should be able to live. Remember, we're talking about living. Eating food, having a shelter, and fucking getting sick and seeing a doctor. Like, this is not radical. When they call us radical, it's not. This is like, if you saw anybody that was working really hard and could not afford these basic things, you'd be like, oh, that's kind of fucked. Where do you work? Oh, the company makes millions of dollars every year. And somehow people are like, oh, it's the worker's fault. It's the worker's fault. Fuck me running, man. Fuck me running. As long as we support the monopoly, it won't improve. What I'm telling you is they don't give you, here's the other illusion they want you to believe, that you have the freedom of choice, that you have the freedom of the market in America, but you don't. There are towns where they have to drive a half hour to the Walmart, and that's it. They can't get certain shit because there are no fucking boutique stores anymore. And if you don't believe me, go watch this fucking guy. It's a podcast on YouTube about Jeff Bezos and what he did with Amazon to undercut, I forget if it was PetSmart or Toys R Us and Zappos. And he purposely took a loss on selling things to bankrupt these other companies so he could be the only guy. This is by design. So what I'm telling you is like, yeah, it's a noble thing to be like, you know, like I hate buying shit from certain places, and sometimes you're forced to because they've eradicated that option. So what I'm saying, it's not about where you put your money. It's just not. It's about this system has been specifically designed so you don't have a choice where the fuck you put your money. You ain't got a choice. You just don't. That's why when people are like a boycott, I'm like, okay, so you're gonna boycott Target, and where are you going? Walmart? Is this a real is this the boycott we want? You know, I'm sure the corporation CEO or high fiver, they're like, oh, they're getting boycotted. Expect our numbers to jump, you know, because people aren't going to fucking, I don't know, Bob and Tim's fucking plastic bag shop to get their fucking, you know, trash bags. Ain't happening. They're going to Home Depot, Walmart, fucking CVS. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, they're ordering off Amazon. This is the thing that like people, I don't know if they think about or whatever. It fucking doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Upside down or inside out. I'm about to show other people what I'm all about. Make a new market. Well, there we go. Well, that's the thing. Listen, that's why, you know, for me, it's, oh, Charlie Kelly. I forgot. Charlie Kelly. I got a Charlie Kelly meme. I know the writing's small. I'll read it. Fine. What if a man who has brain worms from eating roadkill, who is now in charge of the USA's food safety law, is purposely removing regulations because he wants more people also to get brain worms because his brain worms are sentient and want to increase their species population? That's for you, Charlie. Charlie. I blame Obama for being black. I know, if he just wasn't black, none of this Trump shit would have happened. God damn. To some degree, but if you had to drive an hour to Walmart, how many farms did you drive past? Probably not many. How many data centers did you drive past? Listen, Loris, it's a noble cause you're barking up, but the truth is, you can try to start a mom and pop all you want. That's not the solution out of this. Like, if you hear what I'm saying, I'm telling you the game is rigged. And the people who rig the game make the laws, make the rules, tell you who's a criminal. And they could strangle your fucking town any moment they want, you know? What do you think the flock is? You think the flock is just for citizens? You know? You think this AI Palantir surveillance state is just for that? Do you think these people stop at good enough? Why do you think they're billionaires? It's because they know no boundaries on their greed. As soon as they figure out how to, you know, criminalize a business owner for, it's basically gang wars. You know, that's how you got to think of this. It's gang wars, except the gangs are people's in suits and ties, and they have all the money, and they don't follow any of the laws. You telling me Donald Trump follows the laws? He's breaking the Epstein Transparency Act law right now, you know? He's told the courts, fucking, okay, enforce your shit. Like, this dude do not give a fuck, and that's why they love him. Look up smart cities in your area and get out of Dodge. Yeah, no, trust me, I get that. Sounds like a sci-fi horror movie. Yeah. Nurse Rod, oh my God. But Loris, I'll tell you what, it's good that you're having conversation. I appreciate that. That's what I love, having conversation. Pittsburgh and Philly are the signed contracts near me so far. Yeah. The other thing is, like, how the fuck, anybody that has anything smart, like, when that shit goes wrong, is that an easy fix? Smart cars, you got to now bring it in for a fucking charge to look up what the data chip is saying about what's wrong with your car. I'm like, dude, this isn't going to be as good as people think it is, you know? The smart city gets hacked and fucking nobody can fucking flush a toilet for 3 days. No such thing as money, it's a fallacy. I'd be tied up in some man-made play concept, mathematically acquitted, educated amounts to nothing. Interesting statement. I like it. I like it. It's only good when it works. Yeah, exactly. It's only good if it's working. And listen, if you're telling me that you trust these companies without any kind of oversight or intervention or democratic push for regulation to just implement their will, you know, I would ask you to look at East Palestine, Ohio, and what happened when Joe Biden broke up the train workers strike. And I would ask you to look at what are the other major fucking hacks where people got fucked. You know, just look at through history when they're, RFK Jr., where he's deregulating. He's allowing Donald Trump to deregulate all the food, and that there's like 7,000 foodborne illnesses popping up every day. You know, you got to check your phone on what's poison now before you go food shopping. All right, guys. I can't believe I made it this long. Sorry today was weird. Hopefully tomorrow won't be. Fuck, man. Fuck me, man. But for everybody who hit subscribe, for all the members, I really do appreciate you guys. I really do. I really, really, really do. Much love. Stay safe. Keep air traffic control. That's another great one. And you know, share it, clip it, whatever. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I gotta go try to fucking go into Valenti's thing and see if he'll throw a dog a bone. Give me a shout or something. All right, guys. Much love. And Blondie, thank you for the super chat. And I forget who else, but thank you for the super chats. It means a lot. It's huge. Peace.